Hello, everyone. Sarah here. Today, we're going to be getting into the phrase that is one of the most disempowering. That is the phrase, it is what it is. Emotional manipulators and abusers love when you use this phrase. And those who've experienced emotional manipulation and abuse, those who've experienced victimhood, emotional trauma, they use this phrase often. And they often use this phrase followed by another very short, very powerful, very simple one. And that is one word that is in the question of an answer and a question. And that is, right? It is what it is, right? That is one of the most disempowering phrases because in that phrase, there's energy, there's emotion, there are subconscious beliefs that say, an energy of throwing your hands up of this is what it is. What I can see, what I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing is it. And what you see, what you feel, and what you experience is trauma, is manipulation, is abuse. You're in your own head, you're in your own mind. Those words are being created by the beliefs that you have about yourself. And the belief that you have about yourself is it is what it is, right? In an energy of, don't you agree with me? And if you don't, I'm going to experience more inner trauma, more inner disconnection, more inner chaos, because that's what I long for. That's what I thrive for. That's what I hope and wish and pray for is connection, is love, is acceptance, right? Do you agree with me? Do you see me? Do you love me? Do you connect with me? Are you in this with me? Or is it true that I'm in this alone and I must accept what I'm in? This is it, right? It is what it is. Emotional manipulators and abusers, narcissists love when you accept this phrase. And often they're not around to see and feel and experience the acceptance on your part of this phrase, because it's one that you use when you're speaking with yourself, when you're speaking and sharing with others, when you're trying to figure out how to break out of this. But energetically, they've won when you accept this phrase. It is what it is, right? And there's a part of you that says, I hope you're going to tell me that it's not, because I hope that it isn't. But I don't know, because it is what it is. It is what I'm experiencing. It is what I'm seeing. It is what I'm feeling. And that is because it is what you're believing. All of this comes from the foundation of the unconscious beliefs that your mind has developed about itself because of the experiences that you've had in the past, because of the trauma you've gone through, because of the relationships and the ways that they've reshaped you and changed you, because of this new perspective, this new perception that you have, this new outlook, this new way of seeing things that are out there as a reflection of this new way you're experiencing things in here. It is what it is such a settling, such a disempowering phrase, one that removes any chance of change and feels stuck. It's no wonder people who've experienced emotional abuse, manipulation, narcissistic relationships feel so helpless, feel so powerless, feel so stuck, because their mind is using phrases like this and they come up like that constantly, consistently throughout our day. We have over 60,000 thoughts a day, and on average, the vast majority of them are negative and repeated from the prior day. It is what it is, right? And it's almost as if someone shares that with you and they're saying it to themselves in, I hope it's not, but I feel like it is. Please tell me that it's not, but there's nothing that anyone else can say that will have you change your experience of it being what it is, because that comes from within. That is developed in the unconscious beliefs that your mind has created and is holding on to. And if your mind is holding on to the belief that this is what it is, there is also a belief that you have to deal with it, that you have to live with it, that you have to feel this experience of being settled in it, that there's nothing you can do to change it, that it's fixed, that that's what it is. It is this, and you die. Look around. Look at our family. Look at your education. Look at your relationships. Look at your job. Look at your income. Look at this. Look at that. Who else do you know And generally, our world is a reflection of what we are experiencing inward, of our beliefs, of the stories that we've been told about us, about what we're capable of, about what we believe we deserve. And so we feel stuck, we feel fixed, we feel locked in this, and it is what it is. And if your heart longs for, dreams of, desires more than that, to break out of this box, to get out into another mold, into a different experience of the world, one that leaves you filled with excitement, with love, with passion, with compassion, with all of these desires of, I'm looking out there and it doesn't seem like everyone else lives this life that I live, but you know what? Based upon what I've gone through in the past, it just must be what it is. I mean, it is what it is. I should be grateful. I should be thankful that I've survived that. And your mind settles in this phrase, it is what it is. And when your mind settles in that phrase, abusers win. They love it because you're settling and sulking in the misery and in the pain and in the trauma from what you've experienced. And in that, you're in a very low emotional, vibrational energy. You're beating yourself up with this phrase, it is what it is. It's basically saying, don't you dare dream. Don't you dare wish for more. Don't you dare desire better than what you currently have. If you do, you're selfish. If you do, then shame on you. Really? You? Look at you. And your mind gets stuck in this cycle, in this loop of, oh, yeah, no thanks. Because last time I did, all I saw was what I'm not. All I saw was what I lack. All I saw were my flaws, my faults, all the reasons and ways of being that it is my fault and I do just deserve this. And how dare I dream of and desire more and want more and better for myself and for others. This present moment, this state, this current state is what it is. And yeah, who am I? This story of who am I? Because of the story of the emotional manipulators and abusers, that they said, who are you? Who are you to think that you're going to get out there and do better than me? The projection of their limitations were onto you, landed, and the phrase, it is what it is, means there's still a connection, you're still holding that. Still holding their projections of their own limitations, of their own lack of self-worth, of their own lack of self-trust. That you're still holding that. You're still energetically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually connected to that. There's still a tie. There's still a tether. There's still a bond. Look into the definition and the phrase of trauma bond. You're still trauma bonded when you're using the phrase, it is what it is, right? As if it's a declaration and a question. A question you want the answer to be no, but you've already answered the question before you've even asked it. It is what it is, right? Period. End of sentence, end of story. And that's why it feels like this is the end of the road. Like there's nothing more. There's nothing beyond this. There's nothing better than that. Because of that phrase, it is what it is. And when you feel like you've come to the end of the road and this is it, this is what it is, and this is the way my life is going to be, who am I? Who am I to think that I can do any better, do anything more, do anything different with this? This is the way it's always been. Look. And then we look at this evidence in this history of our past, of our resume of life, and we're like, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. And because of all these things that happened, here I am. And it is what it is. It's what it's always going to be. So we get stuck in the pain, we get stuck in the trauma, we get stuck in this state and in this space. And it's no wonder you're left feeling powerless, helpless, hopeless, worthless, all the lesses. How many more lesses do you need to be to feel like you can truly break free from this? Those don't equal that. Powerless, helpless, hopeless, worthless do not equal breaking free. Going within, reprogramming, rewiring the internal and unconscious beliefs you have about yourself. Those are what change things. And those are what things change. Those are what change things. And those are what change things rapidly. And those are what change things powerfully. Those are what break you free from the is what it is. It is what it is. Those are what launch you out of that and into this whole new world, this world that you want, where you have faith in yourself, trust in yourself, belief in yourself, hope in yourself, where you see your worth, you see your value, you see your good qualities, you experience your good traits, you have more better days than bad days. Not to say it's going to be perfect and every day is going to be on an up. That's unrealistic. But to flip the script, to change the narrative, to get out of that it is what it is, where you're still in the hands of being subjective to being used, abused, and manipulated. Because in that phrase, it is what it is, you're using, abusing, and manipulating yourself. You're staying settled in the story. The story that there's nothing you can do about it. The story that it will not change, that it is this, that it is what you can see. Breaking out of that paradigm, breaking out of that story, rewriting it, requires getting to the very core and the very root of it. And there's many different ways to do this. But why would you want to take the road that takes longer to get to there? The fastest, most powerful, and effective way is to go with it. Connect with the unconscious beliefs that have created and generated the story. That have that phrase come out of your mouth, it is what it is, and give your power away to others. Flip it, rewrite it, give that power back to yourself. The hope, the faith, the trust, the belief, the confidence, the ability, so that you see, feel, and believe and experience it within yourself. So that it is what it is phrase becomes a phrase of the past, just like all of those experiences that you went through that led you to saying that. So that you begin to go through experiences that lead you to saying, believing, and having different emotions, different feelings, different energies that light you up. So at some point, it becomes laughable. You look at the past and you go, wow. And there's so many phrases out there. Don't look at the past. You're not going that way. I say, look back, and look back with gratitude, look back with joy, look back with compassion to see how far you've come. But if you're in that state where you're looking back at the past and it seems like it's the same as the present, no wonder that phrase is going to roll so easily off the tongue. It is what it is, because it seems to be that. So to rewrite the story, to flip the script, is to change the inner and unconscious beliefs you have about yourself, that change the experience, the engagement, the interaction, and the connection you have with yourself, with others, and with life. When you're ready to do that, I'd love to connect with you. You can find out more information about my programs and perhaps working one-to-one together if we're in alignment too in the description below this video. Sending you guys so much love and hope that you can eliminate this phrase from your vocabulary much sooner, much quicker, rather much faster, so that you can rewrite this sooner rather than later. Bye for now.